Hello everybody, it's Jude the Exceptional Gamer here, bringing you a very exciting video, and this is going to be for Black Ops 4 Zombies, and this is the first teaser we've got. This was published on May 9th, it was a tweet from Treyarch, and it is a picture, which I'll put on screen now, of this mask, and it is like this man taking off this mask, or thing for all we know. And it looks very cryptic. There's some symbols that go along the left of the screen and some symbols that also go around his eye. Not only that, but if you look at the bottom of the screen, there is a very interesting piece of text that goes along the bottom of the screen that says, "Mankind's reckoning will be its salvation." Salvation. I feel like I've heard that somewhere before. And that's because I have heard it before. We've heard it before. The Zombies community will pay very close attention to this in particular. And I am of course talking about how for Black Ops 3 Zombies, DLC 4 is called Salvation. I think this quote just implies that Primus being involved with salvation, with the word salvation, means that their actions in Revelations and during the whole cycle will bring such thing. So Primus are very important. Our Origins characters play a very big role in Zombies if that isn't obvious enough, but we'll get back to them later. So now let's talk about the symbols that are on this teaser image. Now Treyarch could have made these really dim so you'd have to turn up the brightness to find them, or they would have just done something to hide them, but no, these symbols stick out like a sore thumb, so they want us to work with these. And I'm sure you know a YouTuber named Mr. Rufflewaffle, since he managed to actually find out what these symbols mean. It turns out that these symbols are related to alchemy. And alchemy is the very old study and philosophy of how to change basic substances, such as metals, to other ones, so they convert them, I guess you could say. Alchemy is related to magic and astrology, but it was also carried out through to the 16 to 1700s, and it started roughly around the times of the Egyptians. Alchemy is like the origin of modern science. With that in mind, think to what Treyarch do for their Zombies themes. They have science and magic, such as how the zombies were made in Group 935's labs and all of that stuff, and also how there's things that exist such as the box, the war weapons, the power-ups, etc. So take that with a grain of salt. That is just a little bit of food for thought that you can make into your own theory or speculation. Just keep it in mind since it is Treyarch we're talking about, and I think that does tie in nicely. So now that you know the general gist of that picture, I'm going to get into the actual theory. The theory is about who this man is, what his intentions are, what's wrong with him, and also what this means for Revelations in the bigger picture for Black Ops 4. The community seemed to accept the theory that this man on the picture is none other than King Baldwin IV. For those of you that don't know who this man was, let me explain. Born in 1161, diagnosed with leprosy at a young age, Baldwin lost all feeling in his right hand and it eventually spread. He could only use one hand in combat and he died at the age of 23. He managed to be victorious since he's still engaged in battle in the Crusades. His face got so disfigured that he had to wear a mask to hide all the scars. So for those of you that are wondering what the Crusades were, these were a series of religious wars sanctioned by the Latin Church in the medieval period. Crusades were the campaigns in the Eastern Mediterranean aimed at recovering the Holy Land. We can also tie this to the Revelations ending when Primus go back to when they are knights and they are put back in time by Dr. Monty, and you see at the very end they have the staffs and everyone is crowding around them, all trying to touch them. They are worshipping Primus, all these people, and the robes that they have on look very similar, if not identical, to what the Crusaders actually wore. I mean, come on, look at how similar they are. So it's definitely the right time zone that Primus gets sent back to. The Crusades actually went on for 200 years roughly, and the first one was in 1096 and the last one was in 1270. With that information, it matches up to when King Baldwin was alive, supporting even further that this guy is the one behind the mask. And speaking of masks, let's have a look at what Baldwin's actually looked like compared to what it was on the poster. So if it isn't obvious enough, these two look very, very alike in the sense that they are both like this metal kind of mask, and they both have this flower pattern going on. Both masks cover the face well by the looks of it. I mean, I don't see how they would reveal anything other than the eye slots, which is what both masks do, making them even more similar. So Baldwin never actually wore a mask in real life, but however this was on a film called Kingdom of Heaven, and I feel like whilst this wasn't an actual real event that took place with the mask, I do very much agree with the fact that Treyarch would still take inspiration from that kind of idea and play around with that concept, since they've done things like that before, such as the meteorite that was in Shi No Numa. This was based off of the Tunguska event, and it was a actual meteor that landed and it emitted a lot of radiation and affected a lot of people. So Treyarch doing this honestly wouldn't surprise me. Looking at the hand and face of what is potentially Baldwin IV, we see that there is a lot of skin like kind of rotting or like fading away and just flesh like hanging off, and it looks pretty gruesome. So this does imply leprosy. I mean, it all just fits together so well. But however, because Treyarch like doing these kind of spins on history, what if it isn't leprosy and it is in fact some kind of 115, or he's got the disease and it is trying to like cover it up and stop it from spreading? Maybe he's about to turn. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is, but as of now, we are not sure. And reflecting back upon the Revelations ending and what time period it looks like we went back to, this all does just make sense. This next part is probably going to blow your mind because it did when I found this out. September the 2nd. Pablo Marinus, a Mexican spy, is captured by Group 935 at Der Eisendrache. The tweet of that teaser image was released on May 9th, and in the timeline, if you look at May 9th, 1945, here is what it says. In his cell, Pablo writes of visions of a great war. He describes a great battle against strange demon-like creatures who were trying to devour the earth. In his vision, he sees 4 knights protect him from certain death. He makes a note that the knights wore tunics similar to those in Der Eisendrache. Now that is absolutely insane, the fact that that is done on the same date. That has to be planned. There's no way all this evidence can come together and be found and then it just fall flat. It just doesn't. No, I am a believer of this whole thing, and the fact that it is released on the same date that Pablo had visions about a great battle with 4 knights, and you know they wore the tunics and everything, and it is back in that time period. I think it honestly can't be a coincidence. The quote on the poster that says, "Mankind's reckoning will be its salvation," this also goes like in this big circle, and it completes this off so nicely. When you think back to Revelations and how that ended, there are the 4 knights of Primus. That is them. That's what Pablo is talking about. That is after the great battle. The great battle that in fact is between humanity and the Apothicons. And that's exactly what I was talking about when I said I would get back to the Revelations ending in Primus later. And since we were just talking about Pablo, I feel like this would be good to throw in because it does relate to this great battle and more about it in general. This is a cipher that was from Gorod Krovi, and this is just insane when you think about that. Like you see it and you listen to me read it, and then you think back to everything else you've just heard in this video. It will just blow your mind even more than I hope that it already is. So the cipher says, "My name is Pablo, or at least I think it is, or was. I don't know anymore. I have been locked away, held prisoner in this cell for many months by German scientists. They keep experimenting on me, pumping me full of some blue liquid. I think it is responsible for the repeated visions I have been having, which I swear look and feel real. In this vision, my name is Pablo Marinus, and I am a knight coming back from the Crusades. I fight in a great battle against strange demon-like creatures who are trying to devour the earth. At one point, it appears I am doomed, trapped in the tentacles of a great 3-headed beast, when suddenly 4 knights decimate it with magical elemental staves, saving me from certain death. there are otherworldly creatures that fight on our side against the demons. The creepy thing is that the sigils on their tunics resemble the one I noticed on the stones here at the castle as I was being brought to my cell. I just hope I can eventually find a way to escape this. Wow, it's all just crazy when you look back on all of that. And now I'm just going to conclude this video with what I think will be happening for our characters and everything else next in Zombies, just what the future of it is going to be for Black Ops 4. I feel like we are going to be playing as Primus, and we are going to be either in this big battle, or maybe something else will happen within the cycle that we haven't saw, but it is in the Revelations ending, set in that time era in the 1200s. Maybe we'll see more alchemy themes going on, since that is literally on the whole left side of that poster, and it's just all over the place. I think it is going to be pretty relevant because, like I said, it is the time zone, it's all just going to match up. I think something that backs that up is if you look on the Salvation poster for DLC 4, it looks very, very similar to the Revelations ending overall. I mean, think about it, you've got Primus on top of some kind of mound, and then you also have people reaching up, but except on the Salvation poster, it's not them being worshipped, it's actually them being reached for by some pretty hungry looking zombies. And as for the King Baldwin that was potentially on that poster, on that teaser image, I honestly feel like he's not going to be in the new Zombies. I just feel like that was an indicator to say, hey, this is what the new time period is going to be. So unless we get any more teasers of this man, this King Baldwin-esque person, I think then I'll be quite convinced that maybe he is going to be in the new installment of Zombies. And if we are talking about the future of Black Ops 4 Zombies, maybe this is going to be quite late into it, so I'm just going to keep this prediction light, but I think it's more of an obvious one. We will be seeing Victus again. There's no way we can't. Everything in the storyline just sets it up perfectly, but that is a whole nother video for a whole nother day. But as it stands, I think there is a lot of foreshadowing and also a lot of links that put this into context and make this whole teaser image just very, very justified, such as the person with the mask very well being King Baldwin, and the alchemy symbols putting it into the time zone, and also the Crusades going on in that time zone. But honestly, I do love so much how this all makes the Revelations ending seem so much cooler and just absolutely amazing, because it all makes sense now. Considering the text for the Only the Curse Survived poster is very, very similar, if not the same, as the Mankind's Reckoning Will Be Its Salvation font on that poster, honestly, I think them two link together in some way as well. Maybe it's a continuation of the sentence or something, I don't know, or maybe we will finally find out what that really does mean specifically, like the Only the Curse Survives, because we never really understood what that truly meant. And for those that need a quick recap, the cursed people are the ones that are in Morgue City on Shadows of Evil. The 4 characters there, they are told by the Shadow Man that they have the mark, they are cursed. That would be very good to find out, but back to those alchemy symbols, I honestly think they are going to play a big part in that time period, or for the map we are potentially in that time period. Because maybe there'll be some kind of message or something like that with them symbols that can actually give us some pretty useful intel later on when Black Ops 4 is released, if the Zombies map is actually set back in the 1200s. Either way, this whole theory has gotten me so hyped for Black Ops 4 and what Zombies entails. The Wolf King also took part in these crusades, so maybe there'll be some kind of reference to him. I mean, there's a quote that says this: "While I consider myself to be a brave king in battle, I will tell you, my son, that those 4 were the bravest warriors I have ever seen. I had the privilege to fight alongside them in the great battle many years ago, where we defeated the creatures from beyond and the Dead Eaters. They disappeared after we claimed victory, never to be heard from again. The last thing they told me was to build my castle here in this very location before they disappeared." So maybe we'll actually see the Wolf King as an actual character. I don't know, I think that's a little far-fetched, but maybe we will. Who knows? It's Treyarch, they are so unpredictable, but I love it. There is so much that Treyarch can do for their next installment on zombies, and to be honest, as far as theories go, this is just scraping the surface. I mean, we might not have a lot to work with, considering we have a poster, and then we have to tie all of that back to the Revelations ending, and all this historical research, but then that makes you wonder, how much more is actually out there? How much more things are in all of the other Treyarch Zombies games that tie in to this poster, to the quote, you know, like, mankind's reckoning will be its salvation, and just other things like that. How many hidden Easter eggs and potential theories are out there? It really does make you wonder, and it honestly makes me eager to go back into all the old Treyarch Zombies games and just literally try and find out some stuff, try and make some links, and if I ever manage to find any, I probably won't, but I'll make a video. If there's any more teasers, I'll make a video. So if this new map has an Easter egg for Black Ops 4 Zombies, and obviously I'm sure it will have an Easter egg, maybe it will have something to do with Pablo Marinus. I believe this because of how we have not seen him yet. I mean, we saw Maxis, and we didn't see him until Black Ops 3, or at least not in person for that matter. So maybe in Black Ops 4 Zombies, we may see Pablo Marinus. He is definitely set up to be quite an important character if this teaser and any others that come out keep relating back to him. It's all crazy. It's all a big theory. It's all just speculation. But however, this is a very believable one, and I am very, very, very excited to see what is going to happen for future teasers and in Black Ops 4 Zombies. Sorry this was a late video, guys. I mean, there's people that have done videos on this like way earlier than I have. I am quite a few days late, but however, from the date I'm recording this, I do in fact have my GCSEs tomorrow on Monday the 14th, so damn rip me. I mean, I'm hoping I can get this up by today, who knows. But anyways guys, I'm gonna leave this video here today. It has been a long one, but if you were stuck through, thank you so much. You are absolutely amazing for making it this far, and since you are at the end of the video, and you were interested enough to keep watching, then do consider subscribing. But anyways guys, I'm gonna leave this video here today. If you enjoyed, be sure to smash that like button, comment, subscribe for more. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.